last couple clutches. What's going on YouTube? I'm going to talk about an issue that I've had for a time period. Explain what happened. Just let y'all know that we all make mistakes, and the only thing you can do is try to fix those mistakes and move on, and let you know the mistake that I've made so that hopefully you can correct that for yourself. I lost about 10 clutches in this facility. Luckily it was only this facility and not the rest of them. And here's your reason why. So everybody knows what a thermostat is, I hope. This is a thermostat. Everything we use is VE. I like VE thermostats, never had a problem with it. Herberstat's a good one too from what I've heard. So what we have, or what we had, is an ambient room. Ambient temperature means I kept everything 84-ish degrees. During the time period that I was running ambient in here, I was not able to keep it consistent. So we were, anywhere from 79 to 87. It was just all over the place depending on what part of the room, what time of the day. So I decided that ambient temperature was not going to work in this facility, which sucks because I love ambient temperature for numerous reasons. I'm not getting into all of that. But during the time period of swapping everything to heat strips, I was missing a set of heat strips from ARS for this rack. 5540, they were out of heat strips. They just did not have any more unless you bought a whole rack. Well, I have a whole rack. I don't need the heat, I just needed the heat strips, not the whole rack. So I had to wait about 8 weeks for my heat strips to come in because they were backward. Well, during that time frame, I was still trying to run the temperature in here around 79, 80 degrees, and all these other racks were, had back heat on. So I had 10 girls in this rack, the 5540, that did not have belly heat during this time. They had already ovulated, and the eggs were being built inside of them. No belly heat, around 80 degree. Ambient temperature. I thought they would lay eggs, that would be fine, wouldn't have much to worry about, but that's not the case. The 10 girls that were in this rack, laid good eggs. They had smaller, weaker veins in the egg, but the eggs looked good. They would incubate out, and about 2 to 3 weeks into the incubation process, those eggs would start to go bad, which sucks, because I basically lost all 10 of those clutches, and still losing those clutches now. We have a clutch hatching now that has issues. The last couple clutches have died, half of them have died off, and the ones that did hatch or I cut and were still alive, they have deformed jaws, they have problems with their eyes, they're slightly kinked. And it all boils down to those 10 snakes that didn't have belly heat, weren't hot enough. Those eggs weren't developing in the female enough that they were able to survive through the incubation process. And it took a lot of figuring out, trying to figure things. It just took a lot of information, a lot of talking to people to realize. Nobody really thought the 80 degree temperature would affect these eggs like they have, and it's been devastating for me. It's really been a blow to the financial side of it. It's been a blow to my feelings, because if I had known that all these girls laid eggs for no reason, I wouldn't even bred them to start with. So I feel bad because I put my females at risk for no reason. I just feel horrible about it. But you live and learn, and I've learned a big valuable lesson. Letting everybody know that if you're having problems with eggs going bad during incubation, then most likely the problem was not enough heat on the female while she was building the eggs inside of her. The other flip side to that is you get slugs if your temperature is too hot. So if you have a temperature that's higher than what it needs to be, the female will give you slugs or slug out. So there is a very fine line of that right temperature that needs to maintain for the females to lay viable, healthy eggs. Most of our thermostats are around 90 degrees. That's where they're set at. Inside, the bottom of the tub is around 87 degrees. As of right now, the past 25 clutches-ish that I have gotten since I put everything on heat strips, I have not had any issues. I don't foresee any issues. All the eggs have been fine. Just that time period and just that rack of females that weren't on heat is where we're having this issue. So I just thought it was really good information to put out there in case you're having problems, in case you ever move or you think about doing the same thing that I just done, or those females will be fine without heat for a little while. That's not the case. They have to have a little bit of heat for these eggs to form. So Craig has had an issue for about a year and a half.
That's right.
About the same thing. A couple of the eggs would go bad during incubation. The ones that did hatch would have eye issues or slight kinks, but his didn't seem to be as drastic as mine. Mine were completely horrible. I've had to even the eggs that did make it through incubation were so kinked up or so mangled that we had to put them down. And
we show a lot, but we're not showing that.
Yeah,
there's no reason to show that.
I didn't. Probably should have documented all this, but I didn't. I don't. I'm still upset about it. I didn't really know if I was ever going to tell anybody about it, but you know what? I feel like I should be honest. I'll let you know that even people like me who've been doing this for several years still make big mistakes. And anytime you change in your temperatures in your room, heat strips, ambient, whatever, moving, things like that, these things are super important that you pay attention to, and try to make sure everything stays the same with what's been working for you. Which brings up another point, the fact that everything about this room is the way I have it set and what works for me. Just because it works for me does not mean that it's going to work for you or your friend or your buddy or the guy down the street or your guy, your lady next door. None of it matters. You have to fine tune what works for you and in your room. So, you may have snakes at 80 degrees that do perfectly. I'm just putting out information for what didn't work for me. So I don't need anybody trying to kill me in the comments about, well, they should be fine and blah, 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 blah. I've done enough research. I've done enough calculation. I can see what was going on. I know which 10 females it was that was in that rack. It's the only explanation was the heat. So I'm just throwing out some information for everyone to know about. Let that sink in. Think about the eggs that you've hatched or that you're incubating now. Maybe some of them are going bad, and when they hatch, maybe you're having some issues. Maybe you're getting a bunch of slugs. This is just solid information for y'all to learn about and to hopefully adjust something if it needs to be adjusted. So just throwing it out there. Sorry, this is probably a long, boring video. You know what, Craig? Let's show off a snake just so it's not a completely boring.
That way,
video.
it's a snake video.
So What do you want? What do we want to see? Have we got the retics out in a while?
We did. We got the retics out not too long ago, didn't we?
I don't remember. Let's get out a big one.
Yeah, let's get out a big one.
Hadn't had a big one out in a while.
Which reminds me, I need to feed mine today.
These just ate, so maybe they'll be nice.
She's pretty.
Alrighty.
Look at that big girl.
So this is our
Kissing.
platinum Machino girl.
Oh, she's showing up very nice on the camera too.
And I'm going to assume she's probably 10 foot-ish.
Yeah, she's about that.
And hopefully
There she goes.
we have a male ready for her next year. So
You hear that, girl? We got you a boyfriend.
if the males are up to it, we plan on trying to pair her this coming year. So
She's gorgeous. Pretty snake. She
Alright.
said, I'm just hanging out. So we will catch y'all next time. Say bye, Tony.
bye, Tony.
Be out! Thanks for watching Hardwired Exotics and make sure you subscribe.